did she tell you what happened at the pageant? And Chris is like, I can feel like your nervous energy right now, and it's making me nervous. And honestly, I really felt bad for Kristen at that point
I
because
did too.
I felt like Lala was coming in hard for her. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hey, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about The Valley, Season 3, Episode number 8. But before we do that, I would like to do our call to action. Please go over to YouTube and hit subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. And by the way, we did get a 1-star review, and someone said they are no longer going to listen to us because they did not like our opinion on Danny, which we're going to be talking about Danny today.
Well, I didn't
So
even
if
know
you
that.
so if you don't have a 5-star review to give us, then don't give us any. And if you don't agree with us, what we're saying, that's not a reason to give us a 1-star review. That's not a reason. But anyway,
Comment and let us know what you think, because we have no problem with altering altered different views.
yes, everyone is allowed to have their opinion. This is a
Yeah.
podcast. This is not that serious. Like, it's not that serious. But
Right.
anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know. Only give
By
us
the way, did
5-star
they think that
reviews.
we were being too easy on Danny, or they didn't go into specifics?
Yeah, no, yes, they thought we were being too easy on Danny, and that, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Again, they're entitled to their opinion, but just put it in the comments. Don't give me a 1-star review.
Right. Right. Right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't even know if it's that easy to give us a review. I don't even know what the whole process is, but I gotta imagine it's harder than we think. It's easier to leave a comment.
Don't work so hard.
Yes, exactly. All right, so the name of this episode is Misbehavior.
I thought that was cute.
I did too. We pick up where we left off with Danny calling Lala mistriggered, and Lala telling him to effing knock it off. She's calling him passive aggressive. Meanwhile, she's apologizing to Nia. Nia says to Danny, just let her express her feelings. Nia's saying it's okay that Lala feels the way that she does. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on Lala getting involved in this?
I think Lala had every right to say whatever she had to say. I do. I do think she was making it more about herself. And I do think that Lala's just the type of person where if she sees something, she's going to say something. Like did you watch
Absolutely.
the after show?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says that, and it's 100% true. Now,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, even when Nia goes to bring Danny outside, you're not talking to Danny right now. You're talking to dark side Danny right now. So he's not going to receive it from Nia. He's not going to receive it from Lala. I've been around people where they're in that space and they've drank, and you have to remain calm, and you have to try to diffuse the situation. And yeah, it's annoying that you have to be that way, but you have one of two choices. Are you going to continue getting in this guy's face and saying things that are going to um, trigger him for him to be more of a dick? Or are you going to try to diffuse the situation, which is basically what Nia was doing?
I was just going to say that. It's exactly what Nia was doing, and that is who Nia is. She is a very calm person. She knows her husband.
Right.
They have 4 children together. They deal with these problems. She's well aware of it. She doesn't want to embarrass him, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. By the same token, I don't think it's wrong with what Lala did either, because that's who she is too.
And it's okay for her to say what she feels, but again, don't go on Watch What Happens Live and say you want Nia to leave Danny, because this is their dynamic whether you like it or not. And I'm sorry you had a horrific situation with Randall. Randall was different. Randall was running around on you doing God only knows what, because I don't know if they're still pending litigation, but there very well could be. That's not Danny. Danny drinks too much and gets obnoxious and nasty. He gets nasty. And I know a
Right,
lot of people who get like that.
right, right.
And I'm sure it doesn't happen every time he drinks. But if the next morning he can wake up and look at it and acknowledge what he's done and apologize to his wife, and then they together decide how they're gonna move forward. That's their business. So don't say you want Nia to leave Danny. I don't think that this is happening on the daily in their home.
Especially when they have 4 children.
Right.
Like, that is not your call. That's not your call.
No. And as much as I think Lala has every right to say how she feels, she does.
And honestly, Nia
She's
says the same
also in a
thing.
place that she's doing everything without a man in her house, and she's happy to do it. She's got her mom there, she's got her brother there, she's got, you know, and that's okay for you too. But
Right,
it doesn't give you the right to
right.
make a comment like that. Leave her
And like
husband.
no, and Nia even said to Danny, it's okay for her to feel that way.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and she's right. Like, I think, honestly, and it bothers me that people are so hard on Nia for one standing by her man, and they say she's protecting him. Well, that's what a good spouse does, right?
Absolutely.
And what?
Absolutely.
Jason's not doing the same thing with Janet? I think what Jason's doing with Janet is way different and way worse, to be quite honest with you.
Absolutely. And here's the difference from last year because Lala's like, I won't be a Janet. No, you're not. You're not a Janet, Lala. You're not a Janet. Janet accused Danny of sexually abusing your friend Jasmine or sexually assaulting, excuse me. And she also basically insinuated he was an addict at that stupid dinner at her or somebody's house when she
An
told
alcoholic.
Nia, yeah, but she said, I have experience in being in a relationship with an addict. That's not what's going on here. Does he have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol? Absolutely. Should he not drink? Absolutely. But you don't just whimsically call someone an addict. That's the difference with what Janet did last year than Lala being like, "Yo, I'm very uncomfortable with the way you're speaking to your wife right now."
And the stuff that Janet was calling Danny out on last year, she wasn't present for, and they didn't happen to her. She wasn't there when the incident happened with Jasmine.
Right.
She wasn't there.
Right.
So it's
So
totally
2 things
different.
can be true. You can think that Danny was way out of line and a douche that night to his wife
Right.
and to Lala, and you can also still hate Janet from last season, and I do. I'm
Yes.
sorry, not hate,
Yeah.
strongly
Dislike.
dislike.
Yeah, we don't hate. There's no hate.
Dude, Schwartzy is still an ugly girl.
He sure is. So then we go to the beauty pageant, and Schwartz is misjudged, and Michelle did him dirty, but that's okay because, it's. Jesse was Mr. Wino. I think it's so funny that he couldn't be a miss, that he had to be a mister.
But he looked great, though. I thought Jesse looked
He
great.
did. He did. He did. Honestly, I thought Luke, who was mistaken, I think that Brittany did a great job with his makeup and his boobs and his outfit. I thought, oh, no, wait. Luke
Zach.
was Zach. Zach was Miss Petty. I think Brittany did a great job with Zach's boobs, outfit, and everything. I thought Zach looked amazing. Luke, who Kristen did, and she made him a little mermaid because that was his hall pass.
I remember that being so weird.
I know. I think it's so funny that she kind of leaned into it and
It is
turned him
funny she
into it,
leaned into it.
right?
Yeah.
And Danny was misunderstood, which, okay. It is what it is.
I would have come up with a different name, but yeah.
So Miss Congeniality was misjudge, who was Schwartz. And then the winner, well, what's her name? Nia was announcing the winner, and she announced the wrong winner. She announced that it was Zach that won, but it was actually Luke that won. So she had to take the crown away from Zach and give it to Luke. That
Honestly
was
thought
funny.
Zach should have won. Putting those boobs on, that should have got him to win right there. But
Well,
okay.
listen, I think out of who was the most out of their comfort zone and like really leaned into the character for like who they are, I definitely think it was Luke.
Yeah. I just loved when Jesse was like, listen, I'm disappointed, but there's always next year. And there should be. Absolutely.
So then, they kind of break up and Nia leaves and she's going back to the baby cottage. But I thought Danny was going with her, but he didn't. He went, he stayed in the main house and they were trying to take pictures of Zach while he was laying on the table. And he kept lifting up his legs. And Danny is like making these comments and grabbing his boobs or smacking them.
Yeah. He was out of control.
He really was. He really
Yeah.
was.
It's not, if we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. Danny shouldn't drink. He's not a good drinker.
Yeah.
And then, she tries to have a conversation with him, Nia. It's just, you got to wait until the next morning to approach it. You can't, he's not hearing you right now. And it's
No,
only
he's
gonna
not.
aggravate him and make him angrier, and I know that sounds like a very codependent way of thinking, but if you're in that situation, you just wanna diffuse it.
You do. And I think really what she was trying to do is to remove him from the situation, but he wasn't doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She was
And
trying to
sometimes that
remove
works
him.
and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Right. Like her whole plan was to try and remove him from the situation. And listen, I get it. I get it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I still like them as a couple. I do. I still like them as a couple. And honestly, what Kristen said, I don't know that they're couples goals, but I could see why she would say that. And the
I
fact that
mean,
Lala just shit on that and just didn't give it credence. Listen, Lala has not had a healthy relationship. I'm sorry, she's
nope.
never had one.
No.
She's never
And
had one.
no relationship is perfect, no marriage is perfect. And
Right.
if that's Danny's biggest flaw, that he gets obnoxious and doesn't talk nice to his wife when he's drunk, if that's his biggest flaw and everything else is good, Nia's gonna figure out a way to deal with that because she loves him. Like, you know what I mean? It's
And
not
they're faith-based. They're very much faith-based. Like, they met in
exactly.
church, they will sit down, they will go to counseling. Like she said on the after show, they do this thing called a reset. I don't know exactly what a reset is, but I feel like I could probably use a reset. I
I
mean,
could
I think we
definitely
all
use a
could use a
reset.
reset, right?
With every relationship in my life,
Yes, I agree, right?
not
Like,
just
I think
Eric.
this is no, I totally agree. I could use a reset in my job with every one of
Yes.
my children. I
Yes.
could use many resets. I could use many
Many, many
resets,
resets. Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
So I don't think it's right that Lala is shitting on that. I love that Lala is who she is. I love that she speaks her mind, but sometimes I think she goes toes, 10 toes down when it's not her place. And I think this is one of those cases. I do.
I do too. I do too.
I do.
And the problem is that they all ride hard for Janet, and Janet did all these things last year. So I don't think, and I think she said it on the after show, like she doesn't work for anybody. She's not doing this because of Janet. And I believe that. I do believe
No, I
that.
do too. I do too.
But if we're going to start calling out flaws in people's marriages, how about we start with Janet and Jason? Like, he's like talk about codependent. Like, could you imagine him trying to disagree with her? I can't even see it. And do we honestly think that Janet and Jason aren't hiding things in their relationship? I don't even think this second baby story, I think that's a storyline for them. I don't think she has any interest in a second child, but we'll
You
get
don't?
there. No.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Well, I don't love that the peanut gallery led by Lala's all talking about it.
Well, that's what's happening. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. And, then Danny, to top it all up, goes to get another beer.
Yeah, I mean, that's not helping the
Nia
case.
says to him, her exact words, "My love, I need to take your makeup off, and those are my lashes, and I want to preserve them." Like, even the way she speaks to him, honestly, I give her so much credit. I do. I
Yeah,
really
like,
do.
so we obviously know this has happened before,
Right.
and this is how she's choosing to deal with it because as we see, he's going to wake up tomorrow very remorseful. He's not going to be proud of himself. He's going to be embarrassed. He's going to feel bad. Listen, eventually it's going to click and Danny's not going to drink. Eventually. I believe it. I
I
believe
do too.
at some point he's going to make the choice to just stop drinking.
I do too. And I honestly feel like, listen, like we said, they're very faith-based. They met in church. I believe the parishioners are seeing this, right? I believe that
Yeah. Yeah,
I believe that they will have a sit down. I
I
do. I
agree.
really do. I think that my guess, if I had to guess, I would say by the time of the reunion, Danny will not be drinking. anymore.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope you're right.
I do too. I do too. I do too. I
'Cause
mean, this is
I
just my
do
guess.
feel like I don't think he realizes the magnitude of what he's doing. Even watching it back, which is sad. It's sad, but I think at some point he will. I think
I
at
do
some
too.
point something's gonna happen where he's gonna be like, "Okay, I should probably not drink."
Yeah. So the next day, they wake up and, they go outside. Danny and Nia go outside. And she's like, it's a new day. I want to make sure, we start off the new day. And I want to carry this with us. She said, I feel bad that I brought up things up at a time that I wouldn't normally bring things up. But we both had, she even admits she had something to drink as well. Right. And, so she's going to act a little differently. So she's there putting herself as part to blame. And listen, when you're a couple, there's two parts in everything, right? And Danny admits, like, I definitely took the competition, I definitely took it to the next level. I wasn't talking to you in the right tone. I feel embarrassed. I'm really sorry. And Nia says, listen, the stuff with Lala, like, you need to go in and check back with her and like do a check-in and make sure because what you did was wrong. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go talk to her. And I thought that it seemed okay. Then when he went into his confessional, he's like, she doesn't know me like that. She shouldn't talk to me like that. Because what she was basically saying is, I think you have a problem with drinking, but I'm not judging you. But you are judging him. And he does have a problem with drinking. So don't say you have a problem with drinking and I'm not judging you when you actually are judging him. And he does have a problem with drinking. Like, if you're going to
Well,
say
you're
it, then
definitely judging him if you want his wife to leave him.
yeah. Yeah.
He goes to talk to Lala. He acknowledged what he did wrong. And I do think that Lala handled that, like the way she spoke to him. You can tell that Lala is in recovery and that she's in a really good place in her recovery.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
with the things she said to him were really spot on. It was a shame that then in his confessional, he basically said she needs to mind her own business. That was a shame. But see, I think that the Lala and Janet connection is why Danny's
He can't hear it.
he's not going to
He
hear
can't
it.
hear it.
He's not going to hear it
Right.
from Lala. And it's a shame because I really think what Lala said to him was spot on. And I think that she just handled it very well, coming from a person who is in recovery.
Yes, I do think so too. I mean, I do think 100%. But like you
But she
said, her
was judging
connection
him.
with
You're right.
Janet. Yeah, she was judging him. And then where Janet, where Janet comes in and she's like, well, I still feel, because they've already told her, Lala and Michelle told Janet that she needs to go and apologize to Nia. And, she's like, I don't, I don't really think that, what I'm going to say, she's going to hear me because the way they just remove people from their lives, Danny and Nia. And they're like, no, based on what happened last night, I think that maybe now she'll listen to you.
So yeah, she said they remove people from their lives. They'd rather remove people from their lives than address what's going on. The reason they removed you from their life is because you never apologized for the essay comment. You still have not apologized for that. That's what they're so bent on. He's got a career. They have a family. You cannot just go around saying that about people, especially when the person who was supposed to be the victim is saying, no, that's not what happened.
Right.
So
Don't say
yes,
that.
go apologize for that specific thing and then see how they receive it.
So then Janet goes up to Nia and asks if they can talk, and they go outside. And Janet says, I wanted to sit down and talk. And she starts out with, it started out good. I'm really sorry. I totally understand how some of the things I said could hurt you. I wish I could go back and not say some of the things or say the things differently. Janet said, I know I caused you a lot of pain. And Nia said, I feel very indifferent at this point. I try my best to see the good in people. So I feel like when you look at me, your lens was not seeing any good. You were seeing the negative. And Janet said, well, you're definitely right. I feel like all of us, and that's where she lost her, all of us are not seeing the best of each other. And Nia said, well, I feel like that's a blanket statement. That doesn't feel real to me. She's like, I see the best in people. And when she says all of us, then she's including Nia in that, right?
Yes.
She's like, your repeated actions over time, like over a long period of time, like then that becomes a pattern. And, Janet said, well, all I can do moving forward is apologize. And Nia's like, I appreciate that. But then Janet tries to like back it up and say, well, people are saying, and Nia's like, well, people are saying what? And she said, well, I mean, Danny liked a post that was negative about us. And she's like, but you and I are talking. Like, you and I are having this conversation. What does that have to do with anything?
Of course he's going to like negative posts about you, and I'm sure you like negative posts about him. I'm sure you're loving what's going on right now on social media. By the way,
Right.
do you believe he didn't go to Watch What Happens Live because he had work, or do you think he bowed out because of the backlash? He was supposed to be there, and I believe Luke went in his place. He backed out at the last minute.
I did not watch What Happens Live. Did you watch it?
Son of a bitch, I can't remember if I watched it.
I didn't
I've
watch it.
watched so much. I'm even caught up. Oh, no. I have half of the last episode of Southern Hospitality left. I've just watched so much because I had a half day today. I definitely watched the after show. I can't remember if I watched Watch What Happens Live, but I do know that Danny was supposed to be there, couldn't
didn't know
because
that.
of work, and Luke went in his place.
No, if that's the
Or
case, I
Schwartz
believe
went in
that
his place, one of them.
I believe that he backed out because he couldn't handle the heat.
I do too.
I do believe that. I mean, I do.
Too.
Because I feel like, he's not a fighter. Danny's not a fighter.
No.
He's not a fighter. It's just not who he is. And I don't blame him either.
I agree.
I don't blame him.
I mean, I think he should have showed up. This is part of your job. And, you've clearly hidden, they have clearly hidden some things about their marriage, but that's okay too. Like, I don't need to see everything about your marriage. And I know I sound like a hypocrite because of how I've talked about Kyle Richards over the years. But if you're choosing to not share certain things, like Kristen said, like, I can respect that, but you should have faced the music because.
But the thing is, like, this is what I don't like. So Janet and Jason's big thing with Danny is that he doesn't take accountability, right? If he apologizes for his actions, apologizes to the people that he harms, they
Yes.
accept his apology, how is he not taking accountability? That's what I don't understand. Who are you to say he's not taking accountability? Not taking accountability would be not even admitting that it happened or that you did anything.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Unfortunately, though, I don't like how he did say in his confessional that Lala needs to mind her own business, because you were disrespectful to Lala in addition to being disrespectful to your wife. So, no, she doesn't have to mind her own business. If it was only her talking to her, if it was only you and Nia, well, even then, because that's why Lala went up to begin with. I mean, I don't know. Say what you mean and mean what you say. But I agree with you. He's apologized. He did go to Lala the next day, when
Right.
Nia encouraged him to do so. He did. And
Right.
that could not have been easy for him. And even Lala said, like, I don't like to judge someone's apology. And,
But she did.
I don't either, because some people have an extremely difficult time apologizing. I don't. I'll apologize for anything, even if I don't think I did it. That's how stupid I am. No, I'm like,
yeah, but she did judge his apology. She said, I don't like to judge it, but then she judged it.
yeah.
Because she said she didn't think it was real. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Danny apologized to Jasmine when he found out what he did, right? Because he didn't even remember it.
Like 3
and
times
Jasmine accepted.
he apologized.
Yes.
3 times.
Yes. Yes. And Jasmine accepted the apology.
Right.
So who is Janet and who
Janet
is
was the only one who couldn't move on from it.
Right. Janet and Jason. Jason stood by Janet, loyally stood by Janet, saying that, he's not, what did he call him in the reunion?
A clown.
Clown and something else.
And something else.
And that's what hurt.
A douche.
That's what hurt Danny. A douche. I think it might have been a douche and a clown. And that's what hurt Danny. Why would you say that to him? He took accountability. He apologized. Who are you to say what his accountability is?
Right.
That's what I don't like about her. That's really what I don't like about Janet and Jason. And the fact that Jason just is like her protector because she can't have a conversation without him. And when she does, it just, I don't know.
No, she was real quiet that night when Lala was, communicating with Danny. Janet was real quiet. I guess she wasn't around.
Well, she said on the after show she didn't hear it. She didn't hear it. So then the next thing we see is like they leave San Diego, right? And Schwartz thinks it was it was a success, and they're all back in the valley, and Janet is talking to Jason about going to the OB doctor and then going to the fertility doctor because their son Cameron is now 21 months old, and now they're thinking about having another. They weren't ready to jump on that bandwagon right away and have kids back to back, but now that he's a toddler, that's something they're considering. And Jason says, listen, he looked into the potential of adoption because his dad was adopted and he had 6 adopted siblings. That blew my mind, to be quite honest with you. That's great. That's great. And his mom had 2 adopted siblings.
And Janet's somebody on Janet's side, right?
Yes, somebody on Janet's side. But he's like, there's a lot of red tape involved in that, and it could take years. So he doesn't really want to go that route. So they're going to, check this out. Now, you said earlier that you think that this isn't true. You don't think they want to have other children?
I feel like, well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. Who am I to judge? You know what? I don't dislike Janet that much to say that. So maybe. I mean, they're actually kind of being smart about it because even on the after show, she's like, they want to. Jason does seem like the type of guy. And I'm like this
He's
too.
a planner. He's a planner.
He's a planner. So it's like, you don't just make a decision. Like you think about everything that's involved and the steps that lead you to that decision and how that decision is going to affect everything afterwards. So, they want to figure out where they want their children to go to school, I guess, and then find a house. And then can they afford it? And then can they afford to have another kid, Because I don't think it doesn't seem like Janet works, right?
I don't think so. No, I
mean,
think
I
she
know
stopped
he's an
working
attorney
once she got
in
pregnant.
California,
She did work, though. And then once she got pregnant or after she had the baby, she stopped. But she did used to work.
Yeah.
She was a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I don't think that's a bad thing to plan it out because children are expensive and there's a lot involved.
And honestly, if you don't think you want another kid, don't feel pressured to have another kid. Having one kid is totally fine. Like, honestly. Like what he said, like there's 2 of us. We can tag team it. We can handle it. Absolutely. Because going from 1 to 2 is a big difference. I imagine going from 2 to 3 is an even bigger difference. Like it's a lot. So if you only want one, have one. And don't let other people pressure you into having another one.
Going from 2 to 3 isn't a bigger difference. Going from 1 to 2 is a bigger difference.
Going from 1 to 2 is a big difference, especially if you're completely different children, especially if your firstborn is an angel. An angel. Take it from me. And then you get the Roadrunner. Who's the guy that used to, the Tasmanian Devil? That's what I used to call
it. Oh, yes. The Tasmanian Devil, yeah.
Just spun in a circle and wreaked havoc.
It's funny because I'll be honest with you, going from 2 to 3 wasn't that big of a deal. And I have a girlfriend who has 4. And I remember her telling me, once you have 3, it doesn't matter. Once you're outnumbered, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like at this point, you could have 16.
Right. And honestly, I love children and I love babies, mine, not other people's. And I've always said that. I know that's probably weird, but I don't like other people's children.
Totally okay.
Is it okay? I think it's weird. Okay. I like my children. I don't like other people's. I would have had 10 if I could have. It would have, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. So, God blessed me with 3, and that was fine. I didn't notice a big difference between 2 and 3 because 2 was hard and 3 was just as hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, going from 1 to 2 is a big difference.
And honestly, I do think that what your age separation is matters too. So all 3 of mine are 2 years apart, and yours are?
Mine are like 3.5.
See, yeah. So my first one is 22 months between the first and the second, and the other one is like 28 or 29 months. So, 2 years is, it's that is tough because, well, my doctor told me because I had infertility issues and I had to go see a doctor for the first 2. He told me once in diapers, stay in diapers. And I remember that. I was like, okay, once in diapers, stay in diapers.
You always had 2 in diapers. Did you ever have 3 in diapers?
No, I always had 2 in diapers.
Sorry.
Will was out of diapers by the time Matt, because Will, by the time Matt was born, Will was 4.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because there's 4, yeah.
Tess was potty trained by the time Joe came. Yeah. I never had 2 in diapers. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, and girls, well, you probably know, girls potty train easier than boys.
Absolutely. Although Joe was very easy to potty train. Listen, I had an amazing babysitter. Her name is Pat, and I love her to this day. She and her
She
husband
helped you potty train?
absolutely, and she only babysat for her kids' friends' kids and her own grandchildren. So it was a very close-knit, and she never had more than, like, 5 or 6 kids at a time. Anyway, she helped me, but Joe was very easy because of the potty surprise box. You wanna get Joe to do something to this day? Give him a present, offer him something, buy him something, give him
There you
something.
go. Motivate him.
Absolutely. He's like, "What? There's a box of presents, and all I have to do is pee in this toilet? I'm in." He probably peed 20 times more than he had to.
So funny.
He's an easy sell, that guy.
All right, so after the whole baby thing, the next thing we see is the boys are going to play hoops. So it's Jesse, Danny, Luke, Jason, and Schwartz.
This was hard.
Well, it's so interesting because I don't know why, because I really didn't know what happened. I wrote down after the first jump shot, Jason hurt his knee, and he was complaining about it after his first shot.
Oh, I didn't even pick
And
up on
then,
that.
yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how important it was until what happens at the end. And then Schwartz finally makes a basket because these guys sucked. I mean, I wrote that down too. They suck at basketball.
How funny
Literally,
was
they
it on the
suck.
after show? Was it Luke? He's like, they're gonna play all the clips of us missing shots. And then they played all the clips of missing shots.
Yeah, they sucked. They really
Schwartz
did.
is like, I made one. I made a basket.
Yeah. So then after he makes the basket, they say, okay, one more time. And Jason goes up to make a shot and falls, and he wants them to call the ambulance. I was like, honestly, I don't think they showed us what happened because I saw him go up to make the shot and then I saw him on the ground.
I agree. I
Right?
don't think, because I like rewound it. I'm like, wait a minute, because I've watched a lot of basketball, and
Me too.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know what just happened. They either just didn't show us something, or like you said, he hurt his knee, and it was just the repetition, and finally
Yeah.
his knee just gave out.
Yeah, like I wrote that down and I didn't think it had any importance. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but oof, that was
So I
hard to
guess we'll
watch.
find out next week what happens with that,
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, listen, when he said he's gonna be disabled, I'm like,
I know
"Okay,
that was
Jason."
weird. I
That
thought
was a
that was
little
weird.
dramatic. I
Yeah,
mean,
I did
come
too.
on. And the prospect of running around with his son, like, he can't do that, like, maybe forever. Like, "All right, buddy."
I know. I thought that was a bit dramatic.
It
Why
Yeah,
didn't they talk about that on the after show?
they didn't. I mean,
I know.
they talked about what happened, but yeah, not
I know. I mean, they didn't talk about the injury even. Like we don't even know what the extent of the injury is.
we don't know the extent of the injury, and it's not like he's sitting there in a cast or anything, but when they
Well,
were
the after show is
explaining
done.
it,
Yeah.
how the kneecap was behind the knee and his leg was like a wet noodle. It wasn't good. And then the EMT guy was like, "Yeah, I just did that. You are not in good shape." Thanks.
So then the next thing we see is Brittany meets up with Zach, Kristen, and Lala. Brittany's talking about how well Cruz is doing now that Jax is not there, which I'm
Yeah.
glad for Cruz. It's kind of sad, but listen, at least she's where she's at now, and you can't
Well,
look back. You can only look forward.
you can only look forward. And Lala says Cruz probably feels so much safer at their house with Jack's gone, which is very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it 100. And like you said, you can't go back. So Brittany should just, be happy she's a strong woman and did what she did and got him out when she got him out. Because if Cruz is already progressing, imagine, like, what is he,
Right.
4? Like he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great.
Yeah. Actually, I think he's older than that. I think he's probably 5 or 6 because this is the 3rd season.
This is the 3rd season. Yeah, no, he was like 2 when they started.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, like, she feels guilty and she does break down, but
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
gonna
she
be
did what
great.
she could do. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Then Lala asked Kristen if Nia told you, and Zach's like, "Oh, Janet, like, talked to her at the end," and Lala's like, "No," and Kristen's like, "Well, I know, like, Janet, I know that there was, her and Janet had a thing." Lala's like, "Did she tell you about the night at the pageant with me and
Because
Danny?" And
Kristen,
Kristen was in the other house. Kristen was, I mean, was she
but
getting,
didn't she do
I
Luke
mean,
up or no?
she did do Luke up, but maybe she did Luke up in the other house.
Okay, okay.
because they
Right.
were staying in the other house. I know Danny was in the main house, but maybe Luke was in the other house
Right. Right.
because we didn't see them. We didn't
No, we didn't.
not until the pageant.
Right.
So Lala said, you know, with me and Danny, did she tell you what happened at the pageant? And Chris is like, I can feel like your nervous energy right now, and it's making me nervous. And honestly, I really felt bad for Kristen at that point because
I did too.
I felt like Lala was coming in hard for her. And
Well, what are you trying to
I'm
do? You're trying to get your friend to talk bad about her other friend on national television? I mean, do we not know Kristen better than that? She's not going to do it, Lala. Just because you're
right,
Lala doesn't mean she's going to do that.
right. And I will say this, and I actually kind of agree with it. So I saw on social media, I don't know who posted it, but somebody posted that Bravo really did Nia and Kristen dirty by starting to film when they were only 3 months postpartum.
That's true.
I 100% agree with
That's
that.
very
I
true.
100% agree with that.
I mean,
And
I think the standards that Bravo follows right now are so low. I mean, they're dirty. They're low down and dirty, Bravo. They just are.
like they could have waited. They could have
Mhm.
waited till Nia was no longer breastfeeding. That's a lot.
I
They
mean, I
could
think
have
she's the
waited.
type to breastfeed for over a year, so maybe not. But yeah, give her
I
like
think
5,
so.
6 months.
No, because no, she wanted to get the baby to at least take a bottle, even if it was her
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
She wasn't at that point. She said that. She even said before they went on vacation, like, hopefully to San Diego, hopefully I can get, because the baby wouldn't take the bottle.
And that
Adelaide
she's
wouldn't take the
so
bottle.
little, Adelie. Like, she's little.
Mhm.
A little
So
nugget.
I actually agree with, I don't remember who said it, but whoever said that, I actually agree with that. And the fact
Yeah.
that Lala is coming at Kristen with this energy when Kristen is 3 months postpartum and Nia is 3 months postpartum, right? They both are the same about her friend. I I felt for Kristen in that moment. I did.
Right.
I did.
I agree. I agree. She said, like, Lala's like, "I'm gonna be careful because I know you're their friend, but there is a real issue happening here."
Yeah. Yeah. Her words were, "The way your friend Danny speaks to his wife is utterly unacceptable."
But here's the thing, Lala. He was heavily under the influence of alcohol. The day before or earlier that day, we saw them on the safari ride where Nia was freaking out about the baby being in the sun and not being in the shade. And Danny didn't lash out at her. Even when she was like, Daniel, the nanny needs help. He was like, okay. Like, how the fuck was he
Right.
supposed to know the nanny needed help?
Right.
You know, this is not his everyday behavior with her. So I understand what Lala witnessed that night was unacceptable. I agree, but it's not his normal behavior. He was under the influence and he just shouldn't drink. So them having this like sit down, what is what do you think Kristen's going to do with this? She's
I
not going to
know.
do anything with it except defend
I
it.
was glad. I was so glad that Zach was there. And initially, I was glad that Brittany was there until Brittany brought up that, last year when I brought up something, I wasn't allowed to feel the way I felt. And, we see that scene where she talks about what happened where they said
They
he
were
was
at the table.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he was inside and he was sleeping. And then Zach says to Brittany, "That's because you don't like Nia and Danny." And Brittany got all defensive. She's like, "When did I ever say that?"
I was
And
surprised he said that.
well, then Zach talks about the time where she was on the phone and Brittany felt a way that, Nia was not showing everything. And again, just because you and husband Jax have this very dysfunctional relationship doesn't mean that Danny and Nia need to have it, right?
No, and the thing is I'm sure that if Brittany had the choice to withhold some things, she probably would have. But with Jax, it wasn't an option
No.
because he was a true narcissist where he's going to put everything out there because he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong ever. So, like with Jax, you didn't have a choice but to put everything out there and for the public to know everything that was happening in your relationship because of who Jax was. I think if Brittany had the choice, she probably would have opted, obviously. And listen, we didn't know everything for a long time. I didn't know Jax had a coke issue. I didn't know he
Me
was doing
neither.
cocaine. I
Me
mean, call
neither.
me naive, and I feel like I'm pretty savvy to that shit because of what I've gone through with with family and friends. I didn't pick up on that until I heard the Broad Bros say it
Yeah, I had no idea
about
either, and I'm
Jax
not
and
savvy to that. I'm totally
what
naive to it.
what's that guy's name? Not the producer, not Carlos King. Who's the other guy they always talk about? Tamara always talks about him. They said that that was Jax's coke buddy. Allegedly. Whatever that other producer was. Is it the guy who wrote the book, Diamonds and Rosé? I don't know, whatever. But that was the first time I ever heard that. So she did hide some things for a little bit, but you were married to Jax Taylor and he
Right,
doesn't think he does anything wrong, so he does
right.
everything for the camera to see it.
Right, and he wasn't going to counseling, he wasn't trying to be a better person, he didn't own anything. He
He
didn't
showed
take
no remorse
accountability
for
for anything.
anything.
Right. Unlike Danny, who, when he does wrong, he admits to it, and they do handle their issues, even if it is behind closed doors, which I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't think we need to be in people's bedrooms. I've said that many
No.
times, especially
No,
with
please,
Kyle.
thank you.
I
No.
don't think I don't think that's any of our business, and I don't think that you need to air all your dirty laundry in public just because you're on reality TV. You can acknowledge the issue, say it's been dealt with, and move on. It's not our business. It's not our business.
I mean, even Zach says San Diego was a bad look on Danny.
Yeah. And Zach also says that, Kristen, which Lala contradicts, Kristen doesn't go out and drink with Danny. So
Right.
Kristen only sees Danny in a certain light, and that's what Kristen was saying. But Lala said that that is not true. That she does go out and drink. She did prior to having children. I don't know that that's true. I really don't know
Listen,
that
the
that's
bottom
true.
line is just like you're not gonna get Lala to say something she don't wanna say, you're not gonna get Kristen to say anything she doesn't wanna say.
Yeah,
And Lala thinks Kristen is turning a blind eye, and she doesn't think it's a friendship, she thinks it's an alliance. Listen, it is what it is. I think it's a friendship. I think that Kristen truly looks up to Nia,
I
and
do too.
I think that Nia should have the opportunity to handle her marriage the way she wants,
I
and
agree.
I think that Danny obviously has an issue with drinking and just shouldn't drink. I don't think
I
he's a
agree.
like I said, I don't think he's an alcoholic. I don't think he needs to drink every single day. I think he has an unhealthy relationship with alcohol.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. And that doesn't mean we're being easy on Danny, just
Right.
to our one-star reviewer.
Right.
We're not. I mean, Danny has some work to do, but I don't think we need to cancel Danny. And I think Danny and
No.
Nia can be a strong couple and we can still watch them and they can still thrive. And I don't think others should be judging how they handle their conflicts because the fact of the matter is they handle them. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean they don't handle it. And that's exactly what Kristen said.
Right. Exactly.
So that's all I have to say about the Valley. We'll have to wait and see what happens next week.
Yeah. We'll see.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Please only give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.